Hi everyone, I am Dr. Rebecca Crawford. I am the CCAMPIS project coordinator for Eastern Kentucky University. I just wanted to welcome you to one of our parent virtual trainings. So welcome. I hope you find these trainings to be super informative. I've provided a lot of resources in the end in case you have additional questions you want to look into, and also my contact information in case you would like to reach out to me. For my parents who are CCAMPIS participants, please make sure that you complete the quiz afterwards. I will get notified that the quiz has been completed, and then I will reach out to you as far as collecting your in-home educational kit. Everyone is welcome to take the quiz, but right now only our CCAMPIS participants will receive the incentive of the in-home educational kit. That quiz is password protected, so sometime throughout this training, I will sneak in the password, so make sure you are listening for it. And that's it. I hope you enjoy this. And once again, my contact information will be at the end of the presentation if you'd like to reach out with any comments, questions, or concerns. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this virtual parent training. This is being funded by the CCAMPIS grant from Eastern Kentucky University. Today we will be talking about how to encourage social emotional growth and development in your child. Just a few housekeeping items. Please remember that there is a quiz associated with this training. It is password protected, so sometime throughout this training session, I will give you the password. You will need that to access the quiz. You can always come back to this training if you happen to forget the password or you don't have time to complete the quiz right afterwards. The password will always be embedded into this video. To take the quiz, you'll need to return back to the BCDC website and select the quiz associated with this training. So that is the same website where you found this virtual training at. And please remember, if you are a CCAMPIS participant and you complete one or more virtual training sessions, you will receive an in-home kit incentive for you and your child. All right. So today we're going to talk about how to encourage social emotional growth and development in your child. So in order to help children, in order to help encourage social emotional growth, we first must understand what that is. I found this video and it was developed by the Committee for Children, and we're going to watch that now because I think it does a great explanation of what social emotional learning is, and the role that we play in it and why it's so important. So we're going to watch that next.
There's a lot of talk these days about SEL, social emotional learning. But what exactly is it? Social emotional learning is the process of learning social and emotional skills, and it's just as important as learning reading or math. This learning process is most effective when it begins early and continues through high school. Social emotional skills are essential for success in school, work, and life. With SEL, students learn to manage their own emotions and behaviors, have empathy and show care and concern for others, solve problems effectively, make responsible decisions, and maintain healthy relationships. Students learn to recognize what's happening inside them and to be aware of their emotions, which helps them deal with strong emotions and impulsive behaviors. It helps them stop, take a breath, and think about a situation before acting. Students learn to identify others' emotions and perspectives, which helps them empathize and show compassion, no matter who they are or what their background is. It's not difficult to imagine how this is important in the classroom and in life. Students learn to solve problems in peaceful ways and communicate assertively about what they need or want. This helps them get along with other students and get the help they need from adults. When students learn to make responsible decisions about their lives and their future, things can turn out better. Research shows social emotional learning makes a difference. Students who participate in SEL do better academically, have improved attitudes and behaviors, and act in delinquent or disruptive ways less often. In the United States, students with strong social-emotional competence are twice as likely to earn a college degree and nearly 50% more likely to graduate from high school and have a full-time job by age 25. Just as important, students who are socially and emotionally competent have more friends. This means they're more likely to feel connected to school and do well, and less likely to be left out or bullied. Simply put, by participating in social-emotional learning, students learn the skills to succeed in every facet of school and the rest of their lives.
Well, welcome back. Like I said, I thought that was a wonderful video that talked about social and emotional development and why it's so important to children. Watching your child's social and emotional development is one of the greatest joys of being a parent. From birth through the preschool years, your child starts to become the special, unique person that you will send out into the world. From those first smiles to the first day of school, this is a time of constant and amazing adventures for your child. This term social-emotional development refers to the following components: development of the capacity of the child from birth through 5 years of age to form close and secure adult and peer relationships, regulations, and expressions of emotions in socially and culturally appropriate ways, and exploration of the environment and learning, all in the context of family, community, and culture. All right, so why is why is this so important for children to have positive social emotional skills? So early social emotional skills are related to how socially, emotionally, academically, and professionally skilled we are later in life. When children's social and emotional health is compromised, it can create significant challenges for children, leading to failure in school, inability to make and sustain friendships, and negative feelings about themselves. Research also shows that higher social emotional skills in kindergartners are related to important outcomes at age 25. Some of these include educational success, such as completing a college degree, career success, such as an increased likelihood of being employed. Other key life outcomes are less likely to have problems with the police. Social emotional skills help children to persist on challenging skills to effectively seek help when they need it and to be thoughtful in their actions. Research also says that 1 in 5 children enter kindergarten with poor social and development skills. Supporting the social and emotional health of infants, toddlers, and young children makes sense because early relationships set the stage for healthy or unhealthy brain development. Poor early social, emotional, and behavior development predicts early school failure, which in turn predicts later school failure. Early intervention can reduce later higher cost interventions, and giving to children now will allow them to give back to society later. So moving on, we will be looking at how do we provide support in social and emotional growth based on your child's age. We will primarily be looking at children from birth through 5 years old for the remaining portion of this presentation. So how do you support your child's social and emotional growth in their first years of life? Some simple things that adults often do and can be doing to encouraging infants to grow social and emotional health include holding them and cuddling their children often, enriching their daily routine such as meal, bath, and nap times by sharing smiles and conversations and stories and being attentive to the child's attempts to communicate. So for infants, this will often look like facial expressions, their gestures, their cooing, the little baby talk, and eventually words that they're going to be saying. Adults can also gently mirror infant sounds and expressions. Adults caring for young infants can often struggle with the child's self-regulatory patterns, including sleeping and calming. We all know what it's like to have those newborns around. They love to sleep, but a little bit older, it's harder to get them to sleep or have a regular pattern for sleep. So most new parents experience sleepless nights during the first 3 months of their children's life. Although young infants spend up to 16 hours per day sleeping, their sleep patterns often do not follow the same day-night patterns that adults typically prefer. And this is definitely not uncommon. This is the age this is the age typically when infants are able to eat during the day, that they can sleep during the night without getting hungry. So some things that you can do to help with this is try to help keep infants active during daylight hours, spend time outside, interact during the day by talking, singing, and playing. Start to create like a nighttime routine, keeping it calm, reading a book, dimming the lights, using quiet voices. Help children start to fall asleep on their own. So this might include cuddling and rocking and holding the baby, making that a part of your bedtime routine. However, after cuddling and rocking, it could be helpful to put the infant in their crib when they're sleepy but not fully asleep. This, will teach those skills of helping to fall asleep, helping to self-soothe. Oftentimes, infants might want to be swaddled or wrapped in one of the sleep sacks. So establish those bedtimes early. Even in early infancy, parents can start soothing evening routines, like we said, so bath and story times. Families may benefit from adjusting their own routines to meet the infant's needs. Additionally, parents may be able to gradually adjust infant routines by gradually increasing the time between feedings or naps by only a few minutes. So with your infants and, that first year of life, to support their social and emotional growth, you're going to spend a lot of time holding them, talking to them, mirroring their facial expressions. You can give them like a little mirror that's, child safe, and let them look at themselves in the face, look at their own facial expressions. This is a great time to pick up one of the books that's like Baby Faces, that talks about, happy and sad, and you can start labeling those emotions. Trying to work on establishing a sleep routine and a bedtime routine is also very helpful during this time. All right, so moving on to your toddlers and how to support them in their social emotional growth. Some of these include celebrating your child's daily accomplishments. So, even if it's something simple as a child climbing up the slide or climbing up the steps and going down the slide, you could say, wow, Louie, you made it to the top of the slide all by yourself. You climbed 5 stairs. Celebrating those little moments mean a lot to a child. You also want to set limits, making sure they're firm, consistent, and fair for the child's developmental level, for example. So, a toddler is likely going to climb onto a table. And as frustrating as it is, and it's easy to snap quickly, try to take a deep breath and say, you may not climb on the table. It is not safe. Then go over and, help the child, gently guide them down and redirect to another activity. And also showing them what's appropriate. So, maybe you all go outside and they climb on the stairs climb the steps of a playground equipment, or they want to climb the stairs up to the second floor or down to the basement. For young children, be mindful that they don't quite understand those limits. And so part of our job as adults is to help teach those limits. So them climbing onto the table, it's not always, to get in trouble or to be bad. They simply don't know yet that that's not appropriate to do. Children, toddlers are active, they're exploring their world, and they need that adult guidance to learn what they can do and what they can't do. Another thing that you could do is play simple games and singing songs together, such as the Itsy Bitsy Spider, and laughing together and having fun. Toddlers at this age start to gain some independence, but they'll still need to check in with their familiar caregivers. Potty training is something that often comes up during toddler age, and parents tend to focus on it at this time. But please remember, consult your doctor before you start potty training. Some advice that I have coming from the classroom, any family who kind of pushed the potty training and made it, quite a large thing, they had a harder time potty training their child than families who it was a gradual process and they waited for the child to show that they were ready to be potty trained. And like I said, talk to your pediatrician about that before starting it on your own for sure. Okay, so to support your preschooler in social emotional growth, Early childhood mental health consultants can provide positive feedback and encouragement to parents and caregivers when they see the many experiences they have already provided on behalf of young children's social emotional health. So talking about feelings, once again, modeling those facial expressions. Reading young books to children is a good way to start teaching about emotion words. I've seen a lot of times, at the dollar store, at Target, they might have emotion little flashcards. If you don't want to buy flashcards, something I did once is I had the children in my classroom make different facial expressions based off emotions, and then we used those to label how they felt. So, someone pretending to cry, and we talked about how they might be sad, or someone having a mad face, and you could talk about what it means to be angry and the feelings you have when you're angry. This is a great way to start talking about what do you do with those feelings. So when you're feeling sad, how do you deal with that? When you're feeling mad, what's an appropriate way to show that you're angry and you're mad? All of those feelings are okay to have, but our job is to help teach them how to show those emotions in a more appropriate way than what they currently have. Emotional literacy also includes the capacity to recognize, label, and understand feelings, and not only theirself and others. So, if you have other children in your home, or even talking about friends at school, you could say, if Louis came home and said, Alex was really sad today, that's a great way to start a conversation. And you could say, well, why was he sad? What happened? Would that make you sad? What could you do to make him feel better? How can you make him feel happy? So using those situations that are going to come up naturally, just start talking about the feelings and the emotions they have. If they have older or younger siblings, and there's likely to be little issues at home when there are siblings, such as sharing or turn taking. That's a great time to talk about emotions and why we share with our friends and how that makes someone else feel good when you share. To use those opportunities. So knowing and labeling and understanding feelings and not only themselves and also others is a prerequisite to the development of more advanced social skills and for the continued maturation of emotional self-regulation for preschoolers. The password for this training is emotional, EMOTIONAL. You will need to type that into the quiz in order to access it. All right, so now we're going to look at what strategies you could use when trying to work on these social emotional skills with your child. The first are puppets. This could be finger puppets. This could be stuffed animals. It could be baby dolls. So don't limit puppets to just what we traditionally think of what a puppet is. You can use these to talk with children about conflicts and help them think about solutions while using the puppets. This is something they probably have been doing in the classroom, but you can easily replicate at your home. These are a great way to introduce children to feeling words such as happy, sad, angry. And sometimes, children prefer to maybe talk to a puppet or a stuffed animal when they're feeling sad. This is something I noticed in the classroom. I often had stuffed animals within the library, and, if a child was feeling sad, I would notice they would gravitate to maybe one specific stuffed animal, and that was, that gave them comfort. And they, you could often find a child maybe talking to that stuffed animal about why they're sad or what's going on. Puppets can also help in conversations about challenging topics such as like getting to bed on time or sharing with their siblings. Children love when they see puppets and stuffed animals like pretending to talk, so you pretending to be the voice. They find it really silly, but it is a great way to have those conversations without putting a child like on the spot. Something else you could do is, as an adult, is think out loud. So when your child hears your thinking process, it helps them understand how to cope with frustrations and problem solving. So you might say like, oops, my favorite shopping bag has a hole in it. I better take another one with me to the grocery store. So it can be little simple things at home that have happened, such as a hole in that grocery store bag, or maybe it's you forgot the shopping list at home. And so, you're talking out loud of, okay, what was on that list? What do we plan on cook? cooking this week. So just that talking out loud and working through the problem solving techniques will be really important for your child. Next is reading bedtime stories. There's something magical about having that end of the day routine with your child, and that's really makes for an ideal time to talk about feelings. You can do this through the books that you're reading, so maybe discussing the characters and the events in the story. You can invite your child to share their thoughts and feelings by asking the question, what do you think he should do? Or how do you think she feels? What would you do if you were this character? I remember as a child often, either at dinner time or at bedtime, that was when we kind of like self-compressed about the day and we talked about how school was and, anything that happened. And I remember really enjoying that as a child, getting that opportunity to talk about, how I was feeling or, if I felt anxious or nervous about something or, or if I was excited about something that was happening tomorrow. So starting to establish those routines of, talking about your day, and your child also wants to hear how your day was. So, you might have to simplify the terms for them and make it, a little bit easier to understand. But as much as you want to hear about their day, your child wants to hear about your day as well. Next is doing chores together. So instead of asking your child to do, chores alone, do them with them. The two of you might fold the laundry or set the table, rake leaves, or, for older children, you might be, painting or doing a larger project together. Help your child join in by shortening the handles of a broom if you're going to do sweeping. If it's putting groceries away, give them a smaller bag of groceries to put away that they can easily reach within your cabinets. Next are playing games. Card games and board games and outdoor games such as tag or hopscotch, they have built-in opportunities for helping children learn to take turns, cooperate, handle frustration, and many more social emotional skills. When playing games together, focus on the fun instead of the winning or losing. Children will often get upset if they lost at the game. So, this is a great opportunity to talk about, how fun you have during the game. And it's okay if you don't win or lose. You can talk about the directions, that turn taking. This is a natural way to incorporate that turn taking. We played games a lot within the classroom because it was just an easy way to talk about, you have to be patient and wait your turn. So at home, if you're having trouble, if you have siblings, if you're having trouble with sharing, I definitely recommend playing some games together. So is there anything else you can do? Absolutely. Lead by example. So if you're feeling frustrated and upset or whatever emotion you're feeling, showing an appropriate way to handle that. Children are watching you all the time. So, being mindful of that and being mindful of how you're handling emotions, your children will often start to mimic you. So just be really mindful of that. Be affectionate, give them hugs and kisses and say how much you love them and how happy and proud you are. That is going to grow their confidence. And we want all of our children to be really confident. Be considerate of feelings. So if they are sad or frustrated, and with little kids, they have big emotions, and so they might be sad a lot. And it's okay to say, I'm so sorry you're feeling sad. What can I do to help? I think it's really important to label those emotions so they start to understand what they're feeling, because children don't understand what they're feeling. We have to teach them what you're feeling is okay, and you're feeling sadness or you're feeling anger or you're feeling anxious or nervous, and then helping them work through that. Express interest in those daily activities, as boring and we have to do them, such as like laundry and chores and cooking. Those are times to build your relationship with your child. And, those are the times you could talk about how the day went at school or something they're looking forward to or something they're not looking forward to. So be excited to do those things. Respect their viewpoints. And for little children, we won't see this as much because they tend tend to often agree with the adults, but for your older children, their viewpoints on things might be different, and that's okay. But once again, kind of leading by example and showing them the appropriate way to deal with that when people don't have the same viewpoint as yourself. Express pride in their accomplishments. Little kids, and really all children, love to get compliments and love when adults are proud of them and excited. And I think expressing that pride is something we can all improve in as parents, because really it's the little things. If you think about a little toddler, for them getting their shoe on, that's the biggest thing that they've done that day or that week or that month. It may not be this huge accomplishment of, getting an A on a test like your older children might. So showing pride and excitement when you can is exactly what we need to help support that social emotional growth. And provide encouragement and support during times of stress. So, the pandemic that we've currently been in, as much as adults are feeling that, children are feeling that as well. It just looks different. For your children who typically go to a child care center, they're not getting to see their friends or getting to see their teachers or the other staff or the principal or director. They may not really understand why, but that really is taking a toll on them. That's different than what their day typically looks like. So talking about that and talking about how that's different and how, things might look different right now. So they are feeling the stress of this. It just might look different than how adults are feeling the stress of it. And, once again, telling them that it's okay to have those feelings. As much as we're telling ourselves that during this time, make sure you're telling your child that, and, taking time to talk about, how can we make ourselves feel better? What things can we do to not feel so stressful right now? Like with any sort of development in early childhood education, there are social and emotional milestones, which I'm going to show you next on the next screen. Development is completely unique to each individual child. However, there are milestones that children typically achieve during certain age ranges, and you'll see those next. If you have concerns about these milestones, like you don't think your child's hitting them, speak to your child's pediatrician. It might be, that they are totally fine, typically developing. It might mean that they need a little extra support in a specific area, but reach out to your pediatrician because they can advise you on what your next steps might be. So here are some of the milestones, and these are from the American Academy of Pediatrics. You can also, you could Google American Academy of Pediatrics social emotional milestones, so that you can look at them a little bit more closely. All right. And then lastly, I wanted to leave you with a few resources. Biting is something almost all children do, and it is actually appropriate. So check out this article on understanding and responding to children who bite. You might find that super informative. Sometimes we just have a hard time understanding what our child wants or needs. And the key to that would be to sit back and observe them. So check out that article. It will give you some tips on how to do that, what to look for, some guidance in that strategy. I linked a resource to raising a thankful child, and then how your preschooler can gain self-control. All right, these are the resources that I used. So if you want more information or you were really interested in something specific that I talked about, definitely reach out to these resources. All right, the next steps. Once again, if you are a CCAMPIS participant, please use the link that was on the same page as this training. Enter the password. Once you complete the quiz, I will be reaching out to you in regards of picking up your kits. If you're not a CCAMPIS participant, you can still take the quiz. However, you won't be receiving a kit at this time. And if you are a student parent at EKU, you might be able to benefit from our CCAMPIS grant, which is Child Care Access Means Parents in Schools. This is for full-time, part-time, or online student parents, and we help offset the cost of your childcare. And the hope is that by doing this, we can help parents, help students finish their degrees here at EKU. Our funding is based off eligibility, financial income, your need, and the resources. This slide shows the eligibility guidelines and then the program expectations. So there are things that we ask you to do if you are a part of the CCAMPIS grant. So you can find more information there. If you think that you meet the qualifications, you can complete an application using the link there. You would need to submit your financial aid reward letter, your class schedule, and your work schedule and send it to the Center for Student Parents, and that address is located there. And then lastly, if you would like to contact me, I am Dr. Rebecca Crawford. I'm the project coordinator for early childhood programming. I am also the director of the Burrier Child Development Center, which is a preschool lab program on EKU's campus. There's, my physical address as well as my email and phone number. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please reach out to me. Thank you for attending this training.